My mic was off. I'm sorry. My mic was off. I'm back. I'm back. The trade I was looking for yesterday was either going to be off of this 45-minute demand zone or this 45-minute supply zone. But unfortunately, we never really got a real move until an hour after market open. So that's why I didn't trade yesterday. I could have waited for this trade, but even if I did wait for this trade, I think I would have only won the trade if I had a very wide stop loss. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, my stop loss would have needed to be very wide. So I'm glad I didn't trade yesterday. It was definitely very, very hard to trade the first hour, at least for me. And then eventually broke past this 45-minute demand zone here. We touched up on this 1 hour demand zone and we bounced off of it ever since. And it looks like that was the overnight move. It did. Yeah. So Asian and London session have both been going up. I want to see how big this move has been. Okay, this is good. It's not as big as yesterday. Yesterday's move was insane overnight, which is probably the main reason why we didn't see much. Alright, but starting on the 4 hour time frame, I have this 4 hour demand zone here. This looks like another 4 hour demand or supply zone that it's at right now. I'm also going to check the daily too, in case we do have a very bullish day. There is this daily supply zone, very close to all time highs. Oh, wait, no, this isn't. Is this all time highs? Huh. It is all time highs, yeah. Yeah, damn, so we're still very close. We've just been very choppy the last couple weeks. At least on the bigger time frames. Alright, let's go down to the 3 hour. This also looks like a 3 hour supply zone. Kind of. I think the 4 hour zone looks better. Plus the 4 hour zone. We already tapped into it and we've been rejecting it. So not gonna mark that 3 hour. But I will mark this 2 hour demand zone down here. I like that one. Let me see how far away it is. Okay. I mean, it's 455 ticks. It's not crazy far away. Like, we could easily get there when the market opens up. Down to the 1 hour. I'm going to mark this 1 hour zone that we did bounce off from. It's just going to look kind of weird since I have a 2 hour right above it. But the 2 hour zone was created from the 1 hour zone. So that's why I'm going to mark both. This here also looks like a 1 hour supply zone here. I'm not going to mark it though. I rather focus on the 4 hour zone that there is. I'll mark this 1 hour demand zone down here. Okay. And then when it comes to the 90-minute time frame, oh, this also looks like a 90-minute demand zone here. I'm not gonna mark them though since they're already marked out on bigger time frames. But the zone that I'm still looking at, I've been looking at the zone for basically months now, is this 90-minute supply zone right here. It's a 90-minute supply zone from November. But you can see every time we've tapped into it, we've had very good rejections off of it. Which is why I'm marking it. I think if the market goes up, this would be a very good magnet to target. And these wicks up here, I'm just gonna mark in case the market does reject to that. And I mean, I think that's it. But I'm gonna check these smaller time frames. I mean, this could be a 30-minute demand zone. Like, it's not the best zone, but it looks like it's gonna be the only one there. How big is this range too? Okay, yeah, this pre-market range, it's not really a clean pre-market range, but you can see it kind of is. It's not that small. Yesterday's pre-market range wasn't that small either, yet because it was low volume, it was hard to break out of. So today, honestly, we just need better volume than yesterday, and I think we'll be good. This is a small 15-minute right here. Another 15-minute supply zone right here. I'm not sure if I would take a trade off of this 15-minute zone. I think the only way I would take a trade off of this area maybe would be if I get like a really good retest. And then let's say I do take the longs off of this. The market would really have to break past this 50% line. But if I do take this trade, then I would break even pretty quickly after we tap this area here. What is this? The 900s, yeah. Buyers are going to need to be very strong in order for us to really break past this. Another trade I could take is shorts off of this 15-minute supply zone, which is also a 4-hour supply zone. And I think that trade would play out well. This trade would be a trade kind of not really a reversal trade, but a trade that would bet the market going back into the range. So, also this trade is going to be kind of hard to take. So the only way I would take this is if I see something like that. So retest. Yeah. We'll see that I'm kind of hoping the market comes up to this area here to the 900s, and then from there I'm hoping it makes the move. If the market does just shoot down, I could look at this 30-minute demand zone, and I mean, I don't know. I kind of don't like this 30-minute zone, but maybe I'll take a trade off of it. Who knows? That's it for the zones on NASDAQ. Oh, also with NASDAQ, if the buyers continue to be strong and we get above the 900s, only if they're strong, I think we could get up to this 90-minute supply zone here. There's also a 45-minute zone. Yeah, this one. And I just remember this because I marked it out yesterday. Okay. Yeah. It's just what we've seen a lot this week is a lot of New York reversals, right? Like we'll see Asian and London go up and then New York just kind of reverses. It could happen today just because it happens a lot, but I also want to keep in mind that the market really hasn't moved up too much. You know, unlike yesterday, I think we still have room to go up. like yesterday's move overnight was pretty strong, and I think that caused it to be pretty choppy. But today's move is basically half of yesterday's overnight move, which is why I think there is room to go up higher. But we'll see. That's it for my zones on NASDAQ. Now I'm just going to look at US 30. Okay. I was hoping my zones from yesterday would be here, but they're not there. So, something I see on US 30 on the daily time frame is this range here that we've been in since what, Tuesday last week? Yeah. So, over 2 weeks, basic. No, over 1 week, my bad. So, it's kind of the same thing with NASDAQ. It's just been ranging a lot. Okay, mark this 4 hour demand zone. And it's crazy too because I was bullish on US 30 yesterday. I just didn't trust the price action. But yeah, US 30 definitely played out way better than NASDAQ in my opinion. I think it played out a bit more cleaner. Is this a 3 hour? Yeah, this is a 3 hour supply zone. I'm just gonna mark it out. Another thing I see with US 30, clearly there's a pre-market range. So maybe we'll see a pre-market range breakout. You still trade during chop? No, I really tried to avoid it. Good morning, 56 years old. I've been trying hard to pass some evaluation, been following for a while. Maybe try to slow down, try to take the eval more serious. Sometimes we take it not like unserious, but sometimes we rush through them. Even me to this day, I rush a lot of evals. But the best way to pass the eval, in my opinion, is to, if you're a beginner, is to just take it serious and pretend like you're funded. That way, once you do get funded, you're not overthinking if you're going to get the payout. You're going to be like, oh, I know exactly what I did in the eval. I just have to repeat it again in the funded stage so I could get the payout. Yesterday got sucked for like hours. Hopefully it doesn't today. Yeah, I hope not. NQ's in a weird spot this morning. Yeah, it's been not hard to trade, but it's just we've been in the same area now for over a week. So I think that's what makes it a bit more harder. Looking for shorts. Maybe there is a probability it will fall and then it reverse. Yeah, for sure. Exactly why I haven't been trading. I don't trust the price action this month. Yeah, I think this month the price action, the first 15 minutes of market open have been beautiful, but after that, it's not pretty, and it's been happening a lot where the market just slows down after the first 15 minutes. And I think that's why a lot of traders have been struggling too. So a lot of traders are used to kind of waiting for the first 15 minutes and then they place a trade, but they just missed a move. I think that's what has been happening a lot. This looks like a 90-minute supply zone here. It's just not that clean. But I'll mark it out since it did have a nice reaction off of it. Why is this so slow though? Is it because there's going to be a Fed cut on the 28th? I mean, probably, I think the market is maybe waiting for some type of news, most likely, especially with like the Trump thing and the tariffs, Supreme Court, whatever that is. Maybe the market is also waiting for that. I think there's just a lot of uncertainty in the market, and that's why it's been staying kind of in the same area. But, things could change very quickly, so just gotta be patient for it. Okay, I'm looking at US 30, but I'm not seeing much. I'm trying to find an area or a zone below this pre market range. Um, I don't see anything though. Not much. Yeah, so if US 30 breaks this pre market range, if US 30 opens up and it sells off immediately, I'm going to miss out on those shorts. So I don't really have a zone to take a trade off from if it does that. Unless it sells off and we tap into this 3 hour demand zone, then I would have a good trade opportunity there. But it's just kind of far away. So we'll see. I'm hoping the market opens up bullish. And then from there, we'll see what happens. That's what I'm hoping for. Obviously, though, it might not happen. So we'll see. That's just what I'm hoping for. I just hope the market comes up into these zones, both on NASDAQ and US 30. If it immediately sells off, then I'll probably just look at NASDAQ. Like, see, this could be a 15-minute demand zone, but like, it's really not. Maybe it could be since it bounced off of it here perfectly. I'll mark it. I'll mark it. The only reason I'm marking the zone is wait. Hold on. Maybe I shouldn't. I shouldn't mark this. I was gonna mark it just because the market bounced off of this area here perfectly, but it's just not a real zone. I mean, the basing candle is bigger than the actual move itself, so not gonna mark it. Yeah, I think that's it for the zones. There's not much, so we'll see what today brings us. I really like this pre-market range on US 30. I think we could see a clean breakout. Like yesterday's breakout was, it was somewhat clean. Where is it? Let me see. Was it here? Let me look on a smaller time frame. Oh, I'm looking at Wednesday. No wonder. Okay, this was yesterday right here. Yesterday it was pretty bullish just because I know I had a zone around this area here. It was something like this, and when the market opened up, it broke past this area. We retested it and bounced off of it, which is why I thought we were pretty bullish. I just didn't take it because of this price action here. I just thought it wasn't that clean. But it kind of did play out in a smooth way. It just would have been a trade that I would have needed to hold for a while. It was smooth. The move also just didn't happen right at 9:30. It kind of happened after 10. But yeah, we'll see what happens today. I don't think we have any high impact news today. It looks like there was high impact 9:15 news. that already passed and we didn't see a crazy move. So, no high impact news basically. Now that I finished drawing out the zones though, really quick, I'm just going to do support and resistance with the white lines. Lonnie, can you make more videos about your journey and aha moment when you realized you were become psychologically better as a trader? Love your videos. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I do want to make more videos. I think I just kind of slowed down on the videos because I felt like I was repeating myself, you know? But then I thought about it and I was just like, repetition is kind of the key to succeed in trading. There's a lot of repetition, which is boring, but it's kind of the key to trading. So I do want to get back into making more videos. And about my aha moment, I kind of didn't have an aha moment. It was like I had one, but I wasn't acting on it. You know, it was like I knew what I was supposed to be doing, but I just wasn't doing it for a while. And I feel like a lot of traders have their aha moment. It's just they kind of act on it kind of delayed, you know? Or also like with my aha moment, it wasn't just like one day. It was like, you know, over a couple days. You know, it was probably just me like blowing accounts and then afterwards realizing like, damn, like this is why I have to do that. You know? But there wasn't like a single day where like everything just like unlocked and it made sense. And if there was, then I didn't really act on it, you know? Okay, I think this is it for US 30. Now I'm just going to do support and resistance on NASDAQ. Damn, this could have been kind of a good 1 hour zone here, but it got ran through, so not gonna mark it. Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think the market is waiting for some type of either good or bad news. That's what I honestly think is happening. Because the only kind of reason the market has been moving, and I feel like it's mainly been moving overnight. Maybe that's just me though. Kind of. I feel like the only reason it's really been moving is when there's news about like, you know, Powell or Trump or Iran or something. That's when like the market really moves or it breaks structure on like bigger time frames. But I mean, even this move up, what was this? Yesterday, the move up yesterday, I think was caused because of some other news. I forgot what news it was. I think it was something that had to do with Iran. But even with that move, like New York session wasn't really able to continue it. Or not even continue it, but have good volume at least, you know? there's gonna be a lot of periods this year where like you're gonna be thinking, oh, like, damn, I should have traded Asian session, like yesterday. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? But over a long period of time, like New York session is always gonna be more volatile. There is just gonna be some periods where Asian session moves better. Not all the time though. Not all the time. Okay, I'm also gonna chart like a bit higher up here, just in case the market does move up here. I mean, some Fridays tend to be really good. I've seen a lot of Friday sell-offs. I think last year, last week was a really good Friday sell-off. I think. And I mean, I could see it selling off today, especially just because we're kind of at the top of this huge range that we've been at. But I can also see it going up, you know? So I see this going both ways today. I'm just kind of waiting for confirmation. Do you think Fridays are consolidation kind of days? I think they're hit or miss, you know? Some Fridays are like really crazy, really good, and then other Fridays are just like kind of sad, kind of choppy. I think the biggest hint to know though is going to be the first 15 minutes, how the market opens up. Also, how the price action has been on VWAP overnight. If we look at VWAP, I mean, it looks like a clean uptrend. We already touched up on it not too long ago, and we bounced off of it. So we'll see if New York Open continues this bounce. If we were chopping up on VWAP overnight, then I would have been like, yeah, today's probably going to be choppy. But the price action on it has been pretty good so far. It all depends on your strategy. Yeah, that too. I mean, yesterday, for some people, like, it was horrible, but for others, it was perfect. So it really depends on what type of trader you are, what type of setup you look for. Yeah, for sure. Everyone's result is going to be different. Is why I'm good thinking of starting trading it and keep cooking my shit. I think YM is really good. There's other days where like it's choppy, but I would say about 80-70% of the time, like US 30 has an amazing open. Some days it's too good. Some days the opening on US 30 is way too good. Like you'll look at it with your mouth open, just in shock. Like, damn, it made that move. US 30 surprises me sometimes. Still. But if you're thinking about trading US 30 during Asian session, don't think about it. It's very, very flat during Asian session. Very flat. It's not like NASDAQ where, like, you could get a good trade. No, US 30 most of the times moving sideways during Asian and London. Are you still with Top Step? Yes. Yes. Yes, for sure. All right, we got what, 2 more minutes for market open. The areas I'm really looking at on Nasdaq is honestly the 900s. I want to see how it reacts at the 900s. Oh, look at that. And we're getting up there. Okay, I sounded too excited for that. You know what? This kind of looks like a 1 hour supply zone here on US 30. That's a nasty pre-market spike. But yeah, I'm thinking if it gets above the 900s, I think it would be a really good buy. But I just need to see certain things. I need to see at least a 1 minute candle close and kind of some sort of retest. And then this right here, this arrow that I like to draw out is literally just me trying to see how big my stop loss is going to be, where my stop loss is going to be. That's what this arrow is here for. So my stop loss usually around 100 ticks. So that's how big it is. So if you see me doing like this, that's just what I'm doing. I'm trying to get an idea of where my stop loss might be. Okay, 20 seconds. All right, here's the market open. I also like to wait for the at least the 1 minute candle to close. Nasdaq is right at this 15-minute supply zone. So, and it looks like it's going to close above. So, I think if it retests this area, then I would take a buy. Okay, that's the retest. US 30 is also going to touch up on this 820 area, which, I mean, I'm also kind of looking at. Oh, now it's breaking structure to the downside. US 30 kind of looks like it's rejecting this area. Yeah, I might look at US 30, not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm short on US 30. Gonna put my stop loss around 783. The reason I'm going short on US 30 is just because these 1 minute candlesticks here have been closing below this 50% line, and then it just kind of broke structure to the downside. My take profit is going to be around, what is this, 625. Yeah, that was a 5 minute candle close. And on US 30, it closed inside of the pre-market range. So right now I'm just kind of betting that it's going to go back down to the range, to the bottom of the range. I'm going to go break even here. I hit over a 1-to-1. I'm going to start to trail this. I'm going to put my stop loss at 685. So it really needs to sell off here. There you go. That was TP. I'm going to start to trail this really tight here. Yeah, I got out of that. That was TP. That was perfect. And I'm done. That was it. That was really good. That was good. There's absolutely no YouTube delay. Yo, tell me why I had it to be delayed for some reason. And I thought about it this morning. I was like, wait, because the setting's wrong. So I fixed it. Yeah, this was a really, really good trade. I mean, Like, I don't know, this trade makes me really happy. It's just perfect. Literally perfect. Oh my gosh, I love this trade. The execution was perfect. The stop loss was perfect. I think the take profit was perfect. Everything about this trade I love. I mean, and not only that, but I had the choice to choose between NASDAQ and US 30, and I chose US 30 for some reason, which I'll explain. But, like, look at NASDAQ's opening. I mean, it's just. This is why I can't trade just NASDAQ. It's gonna have a lot of days like this where it's just hard to trade, you know? When you trade market open and it opens up like that, it's very easy to take the wrong trade and just get chopped up. Damn, that trade was honestly perfect. And I think it could go lower. We'll see. I mean, I'm not worried about it. I already caught my move, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I wanted to trade today, but I had a losing streak this past week, so I decided to stay out today. If you have a losing streak, just try to look at your past trades, you know? Try to see if it's you or the markets. Sometimes, I hate to admit it, but in losing streaks, like, sometimes it is just the markets, but sometimes it's us, you know? And it's our job to spot it out. Like, a lot of my losing streaks, I've noticed, like, it was mostly me being impatient. Or, like, something else that I've did. Or I got in the trades too early. Or I didn't wait for confirmation. A lot of my losing streaks, like, are on me. But some of them are on the markets. Not gonna lie. Are you done? Yeah, I'm done. That was it. That was it. I could trade again, but that was the A plus setup for me right there. I mean, I really won't have another A plus setup unless it comes back up to this area here, or unless it continues to sell off and it taps all the way down here at 411, which, I mean, by the time that happens, it'll probably be maybe 10 a.m., which I'm usually done by 10 a.m., so yeah, I'm done. It's also Friday. I don't want to end the week off, on a bad note. So, yeah, that was it for me. Right now, I'm just going to journal and probably chit chat. And probably just look at the markets from a distance. Damn, that sell off is crazy. What time is it? 9:41. See, this is what I'm talking about with US 30. Sometimes the opening are perfect compared to NASDAQ. Let me do this trade recap or journal the trade, which I actually want to start doing on TradeZella. But TradeZella has been weird. Like, I try to resync it. Yeah, this shit is weird. And it only does it for me, I think. I try to resync it and, like, it don't work. So I kind of have to wait for the trade to, actually get placed. So this is why I do it on Discord. Because TradeZella is, like, delayed. Alright, let me post it. I post on their chart analysis, which I haven't done in 3 days. You know what? No, I didn't journal yesterday because I didn't trade. But I didn't journal. Why are you crying? Come here. Come here. Why are you crying? He wants to go outside. Go tell them to take you out. Yeah. Go tell them. Go. Bro. He's not going. Yeah, that sell off. Oh my god. Did it break out this pre market range? No, it's still in the range. So it could bounce off of here. We'll see though. If it continues to go past this, then I think it will be a clear sell off to 411. That's what I'm thinking. But this is also the bottom of that pre market range. So could also bounce off of here. We'll see. Oh yeah, the first and only trade that I took was US 30 shorts, and I'll explain it really quick. If you look at the 3-hour time frame, there's a 3-hour supply zone up here, which we already rejected yesterday. So I like that. You go down to the 90-minute time frame, and we also had this 90-minute supply zone, which we recently rejected right here around what? Yesterday. Or no. Technically it was earlier today in the morning. But yeah, this reaction, I love it because reaction off of zones just tell me, okay, this is actually an area of interest. It's a good trade. It's a good area to take a trade off from. Go down to the 1 minute time frame. The market opened up. It approached these supply zones that were kind of stacked, but this 1 minute candle closed out, rejecting this 50% line with a huge wick as well. So I saw that. I was looking at it. Didn't take the trade yet. I waited for the next 1 minute candle to close. This 1 minute candle here closed out, rejecting that 50% line as well. And once I saw this candle close out, I was looking at US 30. And then my entry was once it broke below this wick here. For me, that was like kind of a break of structure to the downside. So I took the short. My stop loss was 50 points, like usual. Usually my stop loss on US 30 is 50 points or less. Now that I look at this though, the stop loss was around 57 points. So I'm lying. It was supposed to be a bit more tighter at 50 points. But I actually had it up at this wick here. My targeting was literally just a 1 to 2. And that's what I did. I did end up closing out around this area here, around 100 points. And that's just because I saw it touch up on this white line here, and I was just like, damn, like we could reject this area here, so let me immediately take profit. And that's just what I did. And that was it for the trade. This was not a breakout trade. This was a regular supply and demand trade. Another kind of zone I looked at last minute was this 1 hour supply zone here, which is not the cleanest 1 hour zone. But the reason I ignored this 1 hour zone was because right above it, there was a 90-minute and a 3 hour, which is a bigger time frame than the 1 hour. And not every day is going to be this perfect, but I mean, this is really what I wanted to see. Exactly what I wanted to see was, I said it too, I'm hoping for the market to move up once it opens up, so it touches up on these zones. And I said that the buying would need to be very strong in order for it to continue to go higher. The buying did look strong on US 30, but not strong enough. I think if the buying was stronger, then this red candle here would have closed out green, and it would have closed out above 761, but it didn't do that. So yeah. And that was the 15-minute candle close, and it's going back into this pre-market range. It hasn't really broken any sort of structure to the downside. Not yet. Not yet. Again, also this trade here was me betting that the market would come back into the pre-market range, which I think maybe a good sign for that was looking at Nasdaq. Nasdaq really wasn't going anywhere, and it's also still in that pre-market range. So that kind of could have been a hint for me also betting that US 30 would also come back into the pre-market range. Oh, and then after I hit a 1-to-1, I started trailing it around 685 here because I saw that kind of on the 5-minute time frame, this looked like a small 5-minute demand zone here. So I figured that if market got back above this wick here, that we would go back up to break even. So I was like, let me lock in a 1-to-1 at least. That's why I did that. Yeah, I think today was perfect for me. The entry, the analysis, the patience. And again, not every day's gonna be like that, so definitely gotta be thankful when it is smooth. Why Apex scam, bro? I used to say the same thing. Apex is bullshit. I used to say that. I still kind of do, but the reason I decided to trade Apex was literally just because there's no other prop firm that allows you to have 20 accounts. You could just scale like crazy with Apex. You know? That's the main reason why I did it. I hate Apex rules, I do, but again, it's just the only prop firm that allows you to have 20 accounts. So I'm also not saying like, oh, use my code on their 90% sale, because I don't want beginner traders to use Apex. Unless the only way I would change that is if I experience if I have a good experience with Apex. So if my payouts get approved when I do follow all the rules, which I know they do because I have gotten a payout from them, then I would say like, oh, you can use my code. I would affiliate myself with Apex, but I would say a warning, like if you're a beginner trader, make sure you know all of their rules. When you get funded, make sure you know all the rules. Because before, they didn't have many rules, but today, I mean, it's just a crazy number. I think they have like over 10 rules. Apex has 600 million in payouts to traders to date. That's something. Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy. You really just have to be aware of all the rules that they have. Can you go over the trades you took today? Yeah, I think I'll post a trade recap on YouTube. I definitely want to get back into doing that because it's like my way of kind of journaling. But really quick, there was a 90-minute supply zone up here and a 3-hour supply zone, which before the market opened up, we had already rejected these areas. So once the market did open up on the 1-minute time frame, as soon as we tapped into these zones up here, immediately we started closing out, rejecting the area. Also with this first 1-minute candle here, it closed out right at this 50% line with a huge wick. So I waited for the next candle, and this candle here closed out below the 50% line, and it also closed out, rejecting this area up here. So once I saw it break structure here, that's why I entered short. The target was just a 1 to 2. And yeah, it was really just me betting that the market would come back into the range, which another kind of confluence was that NASDAQ was not doing much. It was still inside of the range. So that was also kind of another confluence. Do I compare NASDAQ and US 30? I try not to, but it's hard not to compare them. They're very similar. Most of the time, if US 30 is bullish, then NASDAQ is bullish as well. But when I take a trade, it has to be mainly focused on just, US 30 or just NASDAQ. But I do compare them a lot. I do. Their US 30 going lower, and it also looks like it's breaking out of this pre-market range. And I think US 30 could sell off to 410. I think it definitely could. 410 is just a 3-hour demand zone. Yeah, that was a really good trade. I got a 10K payout from Apex. They are legit. Yeah, for sure. They are legit. It's just they have a lot of rules. So you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I got denied because I broke this rule." One-minute candle spike got me out, then went to my TP. That's the worst feeling. That happened to me this week. Check trade a week spike. What was that on? Oh, on NASDAQ. Yeah, these 1-minute candles look spiky. 853. Oh yeah, it had to be this one then. Oh, literally, this happened to me on, what was it? On Wednesday. Same shit happened to me. It stopped me out straight to TP. It stopped me out break even. And then last week, I had a trade that actually stopped me out. I took a loss, and then literally the next minute it was at TP. It's the worst feeling ever. And it's really a test of your patience. Okay, let me actually journal. Okay. And this is going to be in the free Discord on chart analysis. I try to post my journaling every single day on it. So yeah. I try to do multiple screenshots of the trade. So I try to screenshot it on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. Wow, look at NASDAQ. Ooh. I think NASDAQ could sell off to 718. Definitely has more room to go down. Would I have taken these shorts? Maybe I would have. If I was looking at the 5 minute time frame, could have gone short over here. But the shorts happened quicker on US 30, which is why I took it. That's a crazy move down, though. Literally, New York reversal right here. Right here. Oh, look. Yup. It tapped this Asian low right now. Damn. I think New York reversal is going to have to be the play. Maybe not every day, but I think almost, I think maybe 3 to 4 days this week it was a New York reversal. That's crazy. And I also just like to call it the typical NASDAQ pattern, where it slowly moves up and then it goes down just way more quickly. Yeah, today's really, and it's also Friday sell off. Friday sell off again. Yeah, it's a really good day. I think if I wasn't trading on Apex, like maybe I would have left the runner. But I'm on Apex, so I can't really go for huge moves. Either way, a 1-2 I think is good enough. What was I doing? Okay, I was gonna. Okay, took shorts on US 30 after the market tapped a 90-minute and 3-hour supply zone, and on the 1-minute time frame we rejected it twice. Entry was at a break of structure to the downside. Loss was 50 points. I mean, I also could have maybe scaled into this trade, right, with a tighter stop loss. That would have given me a better risk reward, but I don't want to scale in too much with these Apex counts, so I don't want to get caught up in their scaling rule or something. That's why I haven't also been scaling in as much. And I think that's fine too. Definitely don't need to scale in every trade. In TradingView, I don't see the spike, but in Tradeovate, there's a spike. Just touched my stop. Damn. I also noticed too. I noticed this last year. The spikes on MNQ on micros are way bigger than the spikes on regular NQ. And I noticed that because last year I was trading a lot of micros with the top sub accounts, and it was just way crazier spikes on micros than regular NQ. I would say that's really the main difference with NQ and MNQ. It's very, very slight, but sometimes the spike is like just way crazier on micros. I don't know why, but that's just what it does. Did you get 20 Apex on 90% off? Yes. That's the only time to get Apex counts, when they have 90% off. Or that's the only time I would get it, because they do that a lot. Lonnie, please do remember my name. I'm from India, a new sub. It's fun to watch your trades, even though I don't take the trades you do. Doing trade alone is boring. Yeah, it is. Okay, I remember you, Joshua. And slippage, yeah. Oh, also on, what was it? On Wednesday, I had crazy slippage, and like only 8 of my accounts got into a trade. But what I noticed was I rewatched it, and what I did was I placed the order. Like I usually do place orders, like a buy stop or a sell stop. But when I placed it, it was like right at the same time that price was there. So that's why some of the accounts got into a trade and some others didn't. So I placed the order. So definitely got to be careful if you're placing orders like me sometimes. You have to make sure price isn't too close to it. So you don't get, other accounts and others don't. Or something that happens as well as like some contracts will go in and others won't if you're just trading one account. Their Nasdaq tapped this demand zone at 717. Nasdaq shorts, wow. Gee. Every time, like Nasdaq shorts, they're the best play. I mean, US 30 was great too, but look at it on Nasdaq. Took a while for it to come in, but when it did, wow. Wow, yeah, these 5 minute candles, crazy. I think, let me see. It looks like the orb opening range breakout actually played out today. And it played out very cleanly. How big was this opening range? Wow. That's honestly surprising. The opening range was tiny. Tiny. It was pretty small. And it also closed out kind of right at VWAP. And it still was strong enough to break past it. Pretty good day on NASDAQ. Very good way to end the week. US 30 as well. I think it was clean. Did you give up on TopSap? No, I still trade TopSap. Just not every day. Not every day. I try not to trade as much as I do these Apex counts. Usually I trade all my accounts every day, but this year I kind of want to see how it would be if I traded maybe like every other day. Or on days where I just kind of don't feel like trading, but I'm just showing up. But yeah, I still do trade Apex. I didn't trade it today though. Nasdaq looks like it bounced off of this 2-hour demand zone. I think US 30 still has room to go down though. Maybe that's just me though. Damn, it's just 10 a.m. That's crazy. Honestly, it felt like it was 11 or something. But it's only been 30 minutes. I think. Let me see if my TradeZella updated. So if it did, then I'll put it on there. Yeah, something's wrong with this TradeZella. Maybe it's just me. I don't know how to fix it though. Jeez, the dogs. Yeah, this TradeZella is bugged out. And it's always like this. Like I try to hit this resync button, it never actually clicks. And then I see other traders clicking it. But for me, I don't know why. So I kind of have to wait like an hour or two so it actually updates. And it's like every day. Maybe if I log out. Oof. US 30 is going back into that opening range. And NASDAQ looks like it's reversing right at this demand zone. Yeah, it still hasn't updated. Let me do the math. I think in total, I'm definitely over 20,000 in profits in total. It's nothing crazy because in reality, it's just $1,000 in each account. But either way, like sizing down, like if we look at last week, I had a really rough week, but then on Saturday I reviewed it, and my mistakes last week were honestly. Wait, why is this negative 821 now? Why did this just change? This was not like this. Anyways, last week my mistake was sizing too heavy, so my stop losses were too tight. So I noticed that, I took note, I changed it this week, and it helped me a lot. It did. And then on Wednesday, honestly, Wednesday should have been a green day, but I hit break even. Yeah, you can see I took one loss on US 30, and then 3 other trades were break even, which was tough because the trades played out well. But yeah, the performance this week has been way better. Way better. So maybe, honestly, maybe I should do a stream on Saturday tomorrow, just kind of reviewing the trades, because I think it did help me maybe spot out some mistakes. Wow. I want to see last week's Friday. I'm pretty sure it was literally just like today. I'm pretty sure it was a sell off. Let's see. Oh. Oof. I mean, last Friday looks tough. Never mind. Last Friday looks kind of choppy at the open. Oh, but I guess Tradeify extended their sale. Yesterday was supposed to be their last day with the 30% off. But I guess they just extended it to the 31st. I still want to get funded with Tradeify. I want their select accounts. But I already failed, like, not gonna lie, I failed like I think it was 1 or 2 evals. So I took a break from it. I was like, damn, I'm losing these evals. Let me chill out. But I want to get back to them. So I definitely want their select accounts. And if I do their select accounts, I would go with, I feel like I do half and half. Like some of them I do the daily payouts, and then the other ones I'd like do it the slow way. But I think honestly, I think the Tradeify Select accounts are the best accounts right now. One of the best accounts. One mini contract you're using. Last week I was using one mini on each account, and it just wasn't working out for me. I don't know if the stop losses were too tight or what. Maybe it was just stressful as well. But I tried one contract, it wasn't working out. So this week I sized down to 5 micros, and I was more profitable than last week. So it's just something to note. Some traders are different, right? Some traders are better with using one full contract on 50K accounts. Others are better using micros. So it really depends on the traders. And the way you'll find out is from experience, you know. Experience, and then try to kind of learn from it. Oh, Nasdaq's going back down. Wow. Honestly, I hope. Then if it sells off, it could be really good for next week. Honestly, what I kind of want to see today is I'm hoping, if not today, then next week, I'm hoping Nasdaq breaks out of this huge range that it's been in. I mean, even if you look at the daily time frame, we've just been moving sideways for, oh wow, ever since Christmas, really. So for a while. And it hasn't been horrible, honestly. I would just say, like, it's a hit or miss, you know? Yesterday was definitely a miss on NASDAQ. So, would one mini be enough to pay the bills? I mean, 2 micros. It depends on your bills, right? But I think micros is enough to pay your bills, honestly. At the end of the day, though, it's not really down to the sizing. It's down to the risk management that you have. That's really what it comes down to. What I'd like to tell beginners too is like try to start off slow. Start using micros. Start getting used to the small base hits, because if you're a beginner and you have like $1,000 day, your emotions are gonna be up here. They're gonna be all time highs. And where emotions are at all time highs, they're kind of hard to manage properly. So that's why I like to tell people, like, maybe start off with micros. Once you get used to that, size up. But then it also depends on what account size you're using. If you're using a 150K account, then you could use one full contract, but you would also need to manage your risk. What strategy do you use? I use supply and demand. And if you want to get a really good idea of my strategy, the last video I posted goes very in depth into it. I take 4 types of trades. They're all supply and demand, basically. But in reality, this is the trades that I take. I could explain the concept right here, right? So this is most of the time before the market opens up. Usually there's a pre-market range. So usually there's some type of range. I try to find at least a zone, a supply and demand zone above price, and then at least another one below it. the first trade I would usually take is, I call it a, what is it called? I don't know. It's just a breakout long, right? So it would be something like this. That's the first trade, first setup I kind of take if it shows up. Next kind of setup I take would be regular supply and demand, where there is a supply zone, and then I would take a short like that, which is the trade I took today. I can show you right here. If we zoom out to a bigger time frame, oh, you can't really see the trade, but the trade was something like this. This was the trade, right? Something like that. And you can see right before the market opened up, there was a pre-market range here and a supply zone above price. So I waited for the market to tap into this area here. I saw it rejecting, so I took a short. And I don't predict the market either. Like, I wait for the market to react to the zone. For example, today I waited for the market to, let me erase this. I waited for the market to react to this area here. So once I saw it rejecting this area, then I decided to take shorts. It's not like I predict, oh yeah, I'm definitely short today. I just wait for some sort of reaction. Another trade I like to take is a regular demand trade, right? Where you have that range and then the market opens up and it bounces off of some sort of demand zone. Which I did take this week, and it should have been a win, but I broke even because it happened way too quick. So that's another trade idea. Another trade idea or trade setup that I take is, if it doesn't bounce off of this area, then I short it. And honestly, this is my favorite setup right here. I love taking shorts. Usually, like today, the shorts came in strong. Usually, if it breaks out like this, it happens very quick, very quick. But yeah, those are really the only 4 setups that I take. And honestly, they show up almost every day. It even showed up yesterday, and it kind of played out. But yesterday, what happened was it didn't show up until an hour and 15 minutes after the market opened up. Usually, I look for the move the first 15 minutes of market open. Usually, that's where you get the best breakout setup. Or even though today wasn't a breakout setup, it was a setup where you had really good volume, so it played out very nice. But yeah, that's really it. That's really it. And I don't know if you want to learn more about it. If you join the free Discord, I have courses, and like in my strategy course, I have PDFs that go over the strategy in more detail. But yeah, it's honestly very simple, and the reason I've stuck to it is just because I think it's very understandable for me, and it's something that it's repeatable. Like it's like I take almost the same trade every day. I look for the same move every day. That's why this strategy works well with me. Do you have to pay for market data on TradingView? Yes, you do. If you want, what is this called? If you don't want delayed data, you need to pay for it. What I pay for is the CME package. I think it's like $7 or $8 monthly. And that subscription is separate from your TradingView subscription, which if you have a TradingView subscription, that subscription is just going to be for maybe back testing, maybe some certain tools, and other things. So yeah, you basically need two separate subscriptions if you don't want delayed data on TradingView. Also, if you want to trade like a live account, just your broker, you also need to pay for your data. Like if you use Tradovate and you load up your account, you have to pay for live data. That's just how it is. Same thing with, what is it called? Damn, what is that called? I have it here. Where is it? Bookmap. If you want to pay for Bookmap, you also have to pay for the data. But yeah, also if you buy an account, if you buy a prop firm account, when you pay for that account, you're also paying for the data fees, which you don't have to worry about because it comes with it. But it's just good to know. Do you feel Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday are good days? Yes. I think every day is a good to trade. It's just you have to be aware of when are the bad days. Yesterday, what was it? Thursdays are usually good to trade, but yesterday there was multiple hints to whether it was a good day to trade or not, right? And the first hint was the first 15 minutes. The market opened up very tiny, like the opening range was small, and the price action on the 5-minute time frame yesterday was very choppy. So even though Thursdays are good to trade, yesterday's Thursday wasn't honestly that good. So it's like you don't really know what day is going to be the best day to trade until you show up and you start to get hints of whether it's actually a good day to trade or not. But also it's going to be different for every trader, right? Some traders like Doyle Trades, right? Or Doyle Exchange. His experience is Wednesdays are horrible. So he doesn't even show up on Wednesdays. And I've thought about it as well because I've had a lot of losing Wednesdays. But there's just also a lot of Wednesdays where the market is actually good. So, I don't know. It depends. It also depends on what type of trader you are. Some traders thrive in choppy markets, others don't. I might get TradingView to use VWAP since Tradovate doesn't have it. I'm surprised Tradovate doesn't have it. I feel like they should. They also just have like so much stuff. Let me see. Or maybe you can search it. Maybe you can explore indicators. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there is a couple VWAP community indicators, but I'm not sure if they're accurate. So I don't know. The VWAP I use is, I'll show you really quick. Where is it? Indicators. You search a VWAP. It's gonna come out like this with like, what is this called? VWAP bands or something. Multiple lines. So you could use them. I know many people that use them, but what I do is I just use their main VWAP line. So right here, I unclick these, upper band, lower band, that one, and I just have VWAP, and I just change the color to white, and then that's my VWAP line. But yeah, I know a lot of people use the VWAP bands. What's up, Lonnie? Oh, I didn't see you. Brandall. Yo, when you uploading that YouTube video, that payout video, don't look for reversals on Fridays. I mean, wasn't today a reversal? I feel like Fridays are really hit or miss. Like, you're gonna see a lot of Fridays that just completely sell off, like today. Also, if you go back and look at just like crazy red days on NASDAQ, most of the time it's gonna be on a Friday. Like right here, this huge red candle was on a Friday. A lot of sell offs happen on Fridays. But then again, I have experienced some Fridays that are just, they're not fun. But that was it for me. Um, it's been an hour into market open. It's moving really good. It kind of looks like it wants to move lower down to this 4 hour demand zone. But that was it for me, guys. If you're gonna keep trading, just make sure you're following your plan. Be patient, manage risk, stick to the plan, whatever. And don't be on the charts all day. You're trading for freedom, not just money. So keep that in mind.